Welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
You remembered your name this time.
Yes, I did.
We're back together. I have not seen these people in person in 2 weeks. Crazy. More than 2 weeks because we recorded early, right?
Yes.
Before my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been crazy. That's why it feels so long. I hadn't seen my dad either. So it's good to see him today. I'm going to go first, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so update. I have been working on Rachel's shawl. It's turning very light purple. Look at it. Woo! It's getting there. And the ball, I had to rewind the skein into a ball because it was getting so loose. So look, the ball's only this big. And
Does that mean you're almost done?
that means I'm almost done because when I run out of that, I'm done. So there's that. And that's coming along. And so Hannah has been, in Connecticut at her festival playing all this beautiful music. And last Sunday, I guess partly because I had been so cooped up and everything, I just felt really miserable and I missed her so badly. Well, I also went because I had just gotten cleared from my son's illness exposure. So I went to the spin thing in the afternoon, and I was like, I'm just going to go to this. And so while I was there, I won for Tour de Fleece. We had little tickets for the things that we had done. So I won a couple things, and one of the things I won was a full, at Tempe Yarn and Fiber, a full discount card. So you automatically get the 15% off. So I was like, ooh. So I wandered around. And one of the things I've been wanting to do is make another one of those percentage sweaters, like the one I made Dad. And I found this yarn. And it's a wool acrylic blend, which is easy to take care of. And the label is here somewhere. Hold on a moment. Because I don't remember what it's called. Whoops. It's called... it's by Universal Yarn. It's called Color Burst. And this is called Earth and Sky. It's like a browns and blues. Very nice and kind of... obviously earth tones. It's 65% superwash merino and 35% acrylic. So it is machine washable, tumble dry low. So I thought it'd be easy. So I decided to start her a sweater. And I started it. I did a small gauge swatch. I did not do a normal gauge swatch. And in that, I don't have the book, but in that sweater workshop, you have a gauge page, which, I did bring my gauge page. So you have a gauge page here. I'm knocking everything out of my bag. Sorry. And you figure out the math. So this is my only sweater pattern right here. So I had originally measured my gauge at 5 stitches per inch, which I should have thought was suspect because with my dad's sweater, which was bulky yarn, bigger needle, but bulky yarn, it was 5 stitches per inch. And so a little bit I was like, I wonder if that's right. But I'm just so impatient, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I went ahead and did the ribbing, and then about 3 inches past the ribbing, like it tells you, it says stop and measure your gauge to make sure. Because that's a small enough amount you don't feel sick about redoing the whole thing. And my gauge was actually 6 stitches per inch, which means it was going to be too small. So I put it on 2 circular needles so I could stretch it out, and I tried it on the Hannikin, and it fit, but across the hips it would have been just, like the ribbing really spread out, and I didn't think it would be good. And I thought, and it would just be too tight, because then I figured out the inches would have only been like 36. And it needs to be 39. So I thought, no, that's not going to work. So I took it all out and I started again. But look how it stripes so beautifully. I'll put a close up. But you can see the browns and blues. And so this is the ribbing bottom.
She's going to like that.
Yeah, she doesn't know I'm making it. I haven't shown it to her yet.
Does she watch the videos?
No.
She's too busy.
Yeah, this also has a little bit of green in it. I don't know if you can't see on camera from
I think
far away,
it's
but
a combo of the colors that makes it green.
yeah, and it's so. When I did the first time, you know, I had 2 inches of ribbing and then about 2 inches of stockinette, and it was striping beautifully. And I'm like, I cannot wait. So each one, I bought 2 of these because each one is 600, and it was only $20 for this big thing, plus the discount. Each one is 660 yards, so that gives me 1220, right? No,
660
is 120 plus
Don't ask me.
12, so that's 136. 132. Math is hard. Anyway,
math, yeah.
so 1,132. No, yeah, 1,132.
Okay, I thought quilting
yards.
math was hard.
Approximately.
Apparently crochet
But
math,
so I
knitting
think
math.
that will be enough for her size of sweater. But I thought maybe I should go buy another ball, and if I have too much, I'm holding this in front of my face. Sorry, if I have too much, one of the things that is suggested in that sweater workshop book is to make they call it what do they call it? A turtle on the go. It's basically a cowl, but it's a ribbed cowl, so that would match your sweater. So you make it so if you want to wear a turtleneck, you can put it on and it'll match your sweater, and it looks like your sweater's a turtleneck. And I thought maybe she would like that. I don't know. So anyway,
Like
I started
on
this.
a really cold day.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to be able. It's almost like just wearing a scarf,
Right,
You know,
exactly, and it'll match.
but you don't have to have a turtleneck all
Yeah,
day if you
yeah.
don't want one.
Exactly, and not inside and all that. So it'll match, and also this is DK Way. I thought it might be nice to make a pair of little gloves or something. So if I have more than I need, I would use it for sure. But I really love this colorway. So because this is the percentage system, it's so easy to knit wherever. So this is my new bust knitting, and I started that on, like I said, last Sunday, late Sunday night, and started actually on the bus on Monday. And then my coworker at the end of the day was like, I don't feel good. I'm like, you should just go home. And she's like, no, I have to ride the bus anyway. I don't feel good. Da da da. Next day, she had COVID. So I'm like, oh, I was exposed again. Dang it. So, but I wasn't like super close to her, but I thought, well, I have Wednesday and Thursday off. So I did not come see my dad during those days as well, either. But I tested on Friday morning, negative, went to work Friday, and all is good. My colleague isn't back yet, but anyway, so that is one thing I'm doing. Okay, the other thing, Eve, I have a surprise for you. I downloaded a pattern last night, and I barely started it this morning at 5 in the morning while I was waiting for Hannah's early morning performance, but I'm going to show you what I downloaded. Don't cry. The frog.
I keep talking about that frog all the
Because
time.
there was a video on Instagram that I sent to all of them. It wasn't made by this design. I mean, it was this designer's frog, but it was made by someone else, I think. And it was this frog waiting in all these different cute positions while she made him a sweater. And she made him a little stripy sweater. And then it shows it pulling it over his head. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
I guess I saw
The video
that
was-
video.
I sent it
So
to you.
cute.
I don't know. I
Well,
must have missed
I'll
it.
try to. I don't know.
I have it here.
I don't know if I can link it to our YouTube, but I'll look it up and we'll look it up and I'll tell you who it was so you can find it on Instagram. It's the cutest thing ever. Anyway, this pattern is by Claire Garland. She goes by Dot Pebbles Knits, and you can buy them on Ravelry, and also she has her own website, Claire Garland. She's from England, and I've shown her patterns a lot before. She makes the most beautiful animal patterns ever, but this little frog, this is so
Let me
cute.
see it again. I mean, I think I remember that frog, but
Yeah.
I don't remember the video of
Yeah.
him putting the sweater on.
Oh
and all
yeah,
that
it's
stuff.
it's the most adorable thing. And here's another really cute another really cute shot of another done in different yarn. It's adorable. Look at him.
Oh,
I thought I had it. I don't have it.
Oh, I can find it because I sent it. I know it's in my sents. But so I've been using this little. I decided to put the frog in your little baggie, and I found this green yarn that's left over from the fingerless mitts I made Rachel a couple of Christmases ago, and where did I put? So I just barely started it, but I don't want to work on it today because it's too concentrated. See how little?
Yeah, it's the only reason I haven't.
Look at
It's
it.
so cute, and every time I
This is
see
his
that
bottom.
ad, this is his little butt.
So it's really tiny needles, tiny yarn, and then I found this white for his belly. So and this green is just from Hobby Lobby. It's their fingering weight wool yarn, real beautiful. It's like what do you call it? Tonal, different greens and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to make you a frog. I don't know how long it'll take me. Don't hold me to it.
It's more than the frog I have.
Well, that's true. And then, I put them in here. I'll take a close up. This is my little stitch marker box, but I got the little green eyes. I bought a bunch of eyes a long time ago, and so I'll put a close up of these, but these are going to be his little eyes. So I thought it'll be fun. I haven't made an animal in a while. And here's my Newman's Own ginger.
Is she the same one that does the rabbits?
Yeah.
All that. Her patterns
So
are
realistic.
so realistic.
Remember that
And I think-
chicken? Remember the chicken I sent you?
Yeah. And I was like,
Yeah, there was something. I think it was. I don't know if
It was the chicken. You thought it was a real chicken.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she uses
I
one
thought-
of the things that she
Why don't you
does.
send me
and
a picture
I
of a
haven't.
chicken?
I never do it because I just can't. I can't. I don't have this yarn sitting around. But one of the things that she does is she uses a wool and then she holds it together with a lace weight like what do you call it, Angora or something like that is like fuzzy. So all her animals have that sort of fuzz to them that make them really soft and floofy looking. And so it is that what she said? I'm trying to remember now what she says about the yarn. Hold on.
her creation is so pretty.
It's just and the way it's really in the shaping and it looks like when you look at the instructions it looks horrible, but if you just go line by line and trust what she's saying, it really, because I did the beginner bunny of hers. Remember that brown bunny I made?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hobbs's favorite bunny. We did the beginner bunny. I did the beginner bunny, and it really, once you get into it and you just focus, that's why I can't work on it anytime, like sitting around. But she uses like a fingering weight yarn and then a small amount of lace weight mohair. That's what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. Did I say mohair? I said Angora. Mohair, which is, they have that thin, you usually add it into a sweater to make it real fuzzy and warm. So that's my other fun thing. And
So in the description below, she'll put a link to the website. Does she have a website?
Dot Pebbles Knits? Yeah, she does.
Just put a link to them
I
so
will.
that they can see all these real. If you are a knitter, you'll be amazed
Yeah,
at how
it's
beautiful
so-
these
it's
are.
so
You've
beautiful.
probably seen them on Instagram.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Let me see if I can find that. While you guys are talking, I'm going to look for that thing that I sent you 1,000 years ago with the frog.
okay, Beth.
Are you
So
done?
Beth, yeah, I'm done. I'm
Okay.
done. I have stories galore, but
Okay.
I'm done.
So I finished my second WIP-GO. As of yesterday was technically my 10th day. Right now I'm working on it just because it's easy to work on while we're talking. But so, let me just finish this through. Okay. So I think I showed it last week, but this is my first WIP-GO project, and I think when we did the recording on Thursday night, and I think Friday was technically my 10th day. So I finished this fox except for like just a few random stitches, like the inside of his ears and like one stitch on each of his eyes. And actually I have 2 days left for this month, today and tomorrow. And so I was thinking about like spending a little bit of time finishing up those details on this fox, and then and maybe, you know, a few more random like leaf things. You know, they have this little, like, you know, it's like 9 stitches or something, you know, on some of these smaller leaves. But, you know, just whatever, randomly on this thing. But
It's so pretty.
Yeah, it's coming
It's
along
so
very
bright.
nicely. It just needs, you know, the whole top half of it. But anyway, so that's 10 days of that, so that's pretty good.
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt you. I found the account. It's called India Rose Crawford. INDI. I'll put it right here at the bottom. India Rose Crawford on Instagram. Yeah. So it's and it is dated. Let me see, so you can find it. It's in her reels, and it's dated. I don't see the date on it.
She's got one where she has 2 frogs and they're dating or
Yeah,
something.
so- It's really cute. Oh, it's in her main page of her Instagram, India Rose Crawford. That she has a little highlights reel, and it's called Jumper 4 and a Froggy Face. And so in that highlights reel, you can, because I guess that video went viral. Like, it has 833,000 views. Oh, this one has 2.9 million. I guess she's very famous. But anyway, she has really good cinematography and editing.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. So it's really funny because he's like waiting for her and watching her knit the sweater. And at the end, you see his little hand go through the sweater. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to point you guys to that because it's so sweet, which is what made Eve fall in love
I
with
wonder
that.
what, like, this thing went boink, and I thought, did he throw something at me? No, this magnets hooked each other.
What's that ticket? Admit one cat? Was it
Admit one cat.
Oh,
yeah.
cute.
It's a needle minder I bought at Stitch Shenanigans.
That's cute.
So the other, my other,
Except she doesn't admit her cats to her cross stitch because
no,
she's constantly yelling at them.
yes, get out from there.
What's the matter with you?
Snug, I don't know what his problem is.
He's a cat.
We digress.
But okay, so now this one, let me move this out of the way here. This is And Heaven and Nature Sing. So I've been working on the big deer body,
Still.
Do you have the picture of this
and
thing?
I did not take it out. It's in my bag.
No, we've shown it before,
Yeah.
though.
But
Oh, look at the wreath on
yes,
his neck.
so the collar on his neck is, it's 2 of the colors are done. There's a 3rd green color that I haven't been able to. There's 2 colors that I haven't been able to track down, so they must be in another project bag somewhere. But so I did his other leg, the dark brown on his other leg, and I did a couple of little what do you call it, tree trunk kind of things, because there's a couple little trees that are in here. So there's, you know, there's one down below his leg, and there's one over here. But I worked on this collar. I wanted to, I was, you know, I was kind of bored of the, you know, lines and lines and lines of brown. So I did like this thistle, and I did part of this one here till I got to the end of the thread. But there's, you know, some more. There's like 2 or 3 other thistles there by his little foot. So I did one of them, and then I did most of his collar, and then I did like I've started working on the brown of his head because it's all intertwined with where the collar is and everything. So I went ahead.
You just took a break.
Yeah. So that's this one, and like I said, yesterday was technically my 10th day, but I'll probably work on it a little bit more just to get to a good stopping place. So there's that, and then I was getting ready for August.
I can't believe it's almost August.
I know.
By the time they see this, it'll be the end of July.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 days.
Yeah. And so, I was getting my camp stitching ready for August, and the WIP-GO numbers that were called for August, and a couple of little things I decided to do. I was watching a video, a Flosstube, yesterday, and this girl was talking about how she in the years past, I guess, has done arbitrary August, and so it's kind of like mania, you just do randomly whatever. And I guess in the past she's like written things down. I don't know if they were new starts or whips or whatever, but had like a bowl full of these strips, and so she would just like pick one to work on that day or whatever. And I'm sort of almost at that point. So, but anyways, so for WIP-GO, the two numbers that were called, number 20 and number 25, I had on my board as new starts because I had I think I was 3 projects short of filling out my WIP-GO board completely. So I just put new starts on them. And it happened to be that number 20 and number 25 are both new starts.
And that's what was called?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So in a way it's kind of good because I've been itching to start something new, and I was like, I just felt like I didn't have time. I felt like I was
That's how
kind
I
of
feel
bound.
about this sweater.
Yeah, bound to all these WIP-GO things. But I decided, I'm just going to do some random new starts. I'm supposed to do, 10 days on each of these new starts, and I probably will do that. But I want to go ahead and add in some other things. So this giant pile represents I've bitten off more than I can chew for August. So one of the things I wanted to, and I had said to Eve the other day, I want to dye some fabric, but Dad had some therapists coming over, so I didn't want to make a mess while they, and then we were running around and stuff. So, but then I thought, I don't need to dye fabric because I had some fabric that I found that would work with these the other projects. Then I realized, yes, I do need to dye fabric because I wanted to do a couple things, and one of them is this little kit. It was just like some random kit I bought at Hobby Lobby, and it just comes with a little plastic frame, and it's just a tiny little thing, but it's a cat. It says beginner mini is what is the line, but it's just kitty is what it's called. So it just has a little random, purplish cat and everything, and it comes with the thread and everything else, and but it comes with a little piece of white Ada, and so I want to dye this little piece of fabric.
Well, you better dye a lot of other fabric.
Yeah.
With it.
But so I wanted to dye that one, and then when I was going through all my August projects, I realized, I do need to dye fabric because one of the things I want to do, let me move this over here because I'm making myself nervous, is this Come Thou Fount pattern that I did. I redid the original one that I had. So it's it's this fairly big thing.
Don't show
I
that.
don't. Oh yeah. I was like, that's not all of it. Somewhere here I have the whole thing. But So anyway, I had originally done it a few years ago, and just recently redid it and finished redoing it, and somehow I don't have. Anyway, but it's pretty big, and so I had bought a bigger piece of fabric. This is like 30 by 36 inches long, big. It's 28 count. But so I need to dye this for this pattern. And then, so that's one thing I want to work, at least get a start on in August. And then, and I want to dye fabric for this because I want to start this also in August. And this is a little kit I picked up at, it's a DMC kit I got at Joann's. We were looking for.
Once you're done with it, put them
I will, in a minute. But so it's just a little colorful elephant. And it's a little kit, and it came with white Ada, and so I want to dye this. This little elephant, yeah. So, you know, I have to kind of think carefully about the color that I want to dye it because it's
so
very
many colors,
colorful.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but I might do something just very, very, very light or whatever. So, you know. And then the other thing, this is the month of elephants. The other thing I want to do is, a while ago I talked about some elephant buttons that I bought at the attic. These little elephant buttons.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, oh, I know I have this scoring you. I can put them, you know, for the buttons that you put in the middle. And so I have this. It's a tiny modernist pattern. It's an elephant biscornu.
Is that going to be one of your WIP-GO?
Yes,
starts?
this is one of my WIP-GO new starts.
That's cute.
Mm-hmm. It's very cute.
But it's cute with a round button because it looks like they're
Yeah.
playing with a ball.
I know, yeah. but I want to put it in.
No.
But so this is one that I thought, well, maybe I need to dye fabric for it, but I don't, because I have this steel blue 25 count Lugana.
Mm.
So it's a little different than the 28 count that I like to use a lot, but it's this really pretty color.
Is it going to be
And
big enough at 25 count? That's what I ran into.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So I have this color, and I've never worked with 25 count before, so. But
There's a dog saying hello.
Hey, dog. Hello, dog.
But so I did a little floss toss on here just to make sure that this blue was not gonna be a bad combination for this, because the pattern has, you know, a lot of grays, of course, for the elephants, and then but all the little, it has a whole bunch of little flowers, and I think they'll all look okay on that fabric. So there's that. And then the other thing for my new starts is this pattern from the latest issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher, this Parade of Elephants. And I guess I didn't notice, but last month's edition had another, I had read this little thing when I was copying this, this is designed by Janine McGowan of the Blue Flower, and in it she said that she had the idea of collective nouns to describe groups of animals. For the series, the focus is on some of my favorites and ones I can illustrate. A Parade of Elephants is the second in the series, so I guess the first one in the series is maybe in last month's issue. I don't know. So anyway, this.
Oh, so she's saying, instead of saying it was a parade of elephants, she's using the word parade like you would a pride of lions or a flock of birds.
I guess so. Yeah.
I see.
And excuse me. So the model on here to me is a little bit close in color to the elephants. The elephants don't stand
when
out
I
very
first
well.
saw that, even in the and this is a copy, but even in the magazine, I thought that's not a good choice.
Yeah. Well, and you know the fabric in the description in here, you know, what list gives you the list of threads and all that stuff, and they're all DMCs. But like it says, the fabric is 40 count evergreen linen, and that doesn't look like evergreen to me. It looks like a blue or gray kind of color.
And
so
I mean, maybe it's one of those things where maybe in person it looks better.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say because a lot of times, you know, photography it's hard to get the right color.
I think it's really close.
But I made a weird choice. This is the color that I chose to use.
Oh no, I think that's a
that'll
great
be pretty.
choice with gray.
Yeah, so I did a floss toss on here too because I thought, well, you know, is it crazy to use this color?
No.
But I dyed this some time ago and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna use it for. I just happened to try out this color that I had. I think this is what I wrote down here. I don't know, purple wine, I think, or something. I don't know. So with a little bit of blue, I think
that's
in it,
going to be great
yeah. So
because it also has a sort of a circus feel.
mhm.
You know.
So this is the
That's
fabric.
nice.
I've had this fabric for a while, and I thought, I don't know what I'm going to use it for. But I did a floss toss, and all the colors look good. The one color that, because I didn't have a couple of them, was these two colors here. And so this one might be a little, I don't know. This one would be okay. This
But
brown.
the elephants themselves.
Yeah, the elephants themselves.
Yeah.
Will. This one is this variegated. This is a DMC variegated thread, and it's used for like just the border around there.
I think it'll be fine.
So yeah, so and it goes. You know, it has some rose colors. It's actually they're kind of, I think they're kind of like browns or something, but they look a little close in color to the fabric, but it's the DMC variegated threads are very widely variegated, so they're very light to very dark. So I think that'll.
Excuse me. Are they long variegations or short?
I think they're long. When I did that owl for Rachel.
Oh, that's yours. I'm gonna drink yours.
Sorry, they.
A part of Eve will be played by Naomi.
Yeah. So there's that parade of elephants. Oh wait, I just didn't stick this back in there. I don't want to lose it.
When you did the owl, they were long.
Yeah, when I did the owl, there were sections that were like, you know, that were almost white, and I had to be very careful that I used, like, you know, if I got to the end of the thread I was using and it was a very light, the yellow, almost white, that I had to use that, you know, I had to make sure I used that same end, to that same color to continue on, you know, if wherever I was. So then,
Holy cow, Beth! How
I
many
know.
things are you going to start?
oh yeah, well those two, the Boscornu and the Parade of Elephants are my WIP-GO starts.
Mm-hmm.
The other things are just like, you know, work on them a little bit. So this is Hippity Hop. This is my August cross stitch camp project. So it's very small. It's only like 43 by 43.
So that's camp, which
Yeah,
is different from.
this is camp. So I did have to go digging around for these threads because I was like, because I wanted to make sure I had them, especially the blue that's around the border, because I want to do a corner start, and I thought I have to use this. I have to start with this bluish color. So I have to make sure I have that. So I digging through my threads, buying some threads and whatever. But this is the fabric that I bought at Hobby Lobby. That is, it's just labeled like embroidery fabric or whatever in their section, but it's like 40 count, so it's very tiny. So I imagine the design will be very small. So, but yeah, so this is the challenge for August is to do something you've never done before, or use something you've never used before. So like threads or whatever. So this designer, I've never done anything by this designer before, and this is Lizzie Waite of Primrose Cottage Stitches. I've never used her as a designer, and I've never stitched on 40 count fabric.
See, the thing is, you're doing all that, and you at least have some supposed direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have your WIP-GO thing,
Mm-hmm.
and your cross stitch camp thing, and I don't have any excuse for all the stupid things I start every 5 seconds.
She doesn't have an excuse for 4 of those.
Oh, okay. But anyway, I'm just like,
Yeah.
whoa,
So-
just WIP-GO told me to do it.
Yeah.
No, I told me to do it.
And then the other thing I have to do
Oh my
is
God. You have to do.
I have to do is my August rabbit. So this is the July one, and I just stitched a very little bit, and actually I was going to work on this today while we were doing it, but I thought, it's very complicated, so I don't want to do it. So today and tomorrow, so I might work on this one a little bit, just to get it a little further along.
In January, you were like, I could do one of these a month.
She could if she didn't do all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So this is the July rabbit, so I just did a little bit of the border on it. But for August, this is the rabbit, and this is another of those 32 count Murano Carré numbers. This one is ice. This blue one.
You do that on the blue?
Oops. Yeah, I accidentally grabbed that. And so this is the August pattern. So this one they did on this light fabric that they use for
And
all
again,
of them,
you see
and
no
you can't really
contrast.
see it. Yeah. So I thought, I didn't want to use anything like that. So all these bunnies are white. So
I can't even see them in the pattern itself.
yeah,
It looks awful.
Yeah, they're really, really hard to see. So the January one I did, I used this same fabric and white, and they showed up they popped really nicely.
Oh,
on this
now
color.
I see them. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah, it's really. I was like, where are they? What? And all those other colors, the oranges and all that for the carrots and stuff, will show up very nicely
Yeah.
on here. So I think
Wow.
this is a good
That's really hard
good
to
choice. I accidentally grabbed this.
And they also seem very thin. Like the rabbits are their ears are like one line or something.
The silk threads, you use only one thread, one ply, and so they're very easy to lose. That November rabbit jumped in there.
That's what rabbits do.
I told her to use
multiplied.
use that August rabbit as one of her new starts for WIP-GO, but
But
she had,
no.
she had so many patterns. She's like, no, I want to start.
to do those elephants.
I want to start everything.
Yeah, and then
Oh my gosh, Beth.
I kind of want to start this. I've been itching to start this. I haven't
Whatever.
done-
Do it all. Do
Yeah.
all the things.
And this is Sheepish Manor. It's a little kit by, I want to say, Chessie and Me.
Oh, that's so cute.
I got it at the attic some time ago. I just I went back and forth. I hemmed and hawed about it. I was like, I don't need that. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. It's so cute. I couldn't stand it.
Oh, Did
you-
And because it's a kit,
gosh.
it has little silk threads in there. It has linen. It's got a needle.
Oh, how
It's
nice.
got, yeah.
That's
Did you
cute.
see the attic's last Flosstube?
I just watched
They were
part of it.
showing some new fabrics they got in. and one of them is this blue that is so beautiful. It's a linen in blue, but it's kind of mottled a little bit, right? They have it in 35 count and some other high count like that. I was like, yeah, that blue can stay there for me because I can barely manage 32 count. But
It's gorgeous.
but it's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. If I was going to try some higher count, it would be that. If I was going to try linen, it would be that.
You know?
But I was thinking, since Beth liked that, if Beth likes that 40 count fabric,
yeah.
you might see that blue and go, I can do that. Because she really loves blue.
The thing about this one that is a little bit challenging is these lazy daisy stitches that up on the leaves on the tree are done with lazy daisy
Lazy daisy
stitches.
stitches are very easy.
And
But they're embroidery. They're not cross stitch. They're
I've
embroidery.
never done them before.
Yes, you did, as a brownie.
When you were a
Only
kid.
30 million years ago.
But you did them, or maybe it was just me.
Maybe
I
it was
put
just
them.
you,
I put a
actually.
thing of daisies on the in home ec. I embroidered daisies for the edge of my pillowcase that I had to make, and they're very easy.
You'll be okay. You'll be
you
okay.
anchor it here. You make
can
the
do it.
loop. You anchor it there. You blow back. It's
You can do
very
it.
easy.
You can do it.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
If you can do cross stitch, you can do that.
Well, you know,
They're not a
in
complicated
that
stitch.
kit, it doesn't talk about how to, like, sometimes you'll when you get a thing like that has specialty stitches, it'll have a little diagram of the specialty stitches, and I think this one has a diagram of there's like Smyrna crosses or something, I think, in there, and they're basically, you do the X, but then you also do a horizontal stitch and
You
a
do an
vertical
X and,
stitch.
and then a cross
Yeah.
on top.
Yeah, and so, but I think that's in there, but the lazy daisies aren't. So that's something I, just to make sure that I'm doing them right and that whatever, I'm gonna have to look that up online. But then I also, when I was buying the DMC threads, I bought this little packet from. Remember?
Another pack of 40 count.
Yeah, because remember I talked about how they have two packs of colors, and the one is the earth tones that I bought last time, and this one is like grays and blues, and so there's a black, there's a white, a couple of whites, I don't know, and kind of a brownish beigeish color here, and then a gray. So yeah, so I like those other ones so much that I went ahead and bought this little pack. So so that's me. All my projects.
Finally done, huh?
We'll see.
All those
We'll
projects.
see how much gets done.
Look, I say all those projects, you don't see the stack I have over here.
Pot, kettle.
Okay, so first off, WIP-GO.
Cauldron over here. Real quick, I'm like, what's a synonym? What's a synonym? Oh, cauldron.
My WIP-GO number 11 was for July. Was Black Halloween series, and I've been working on this one. And I am darn near done.
I love that fabric.
Twin Peak Primitives.
Twin Peak Primitives, yeah.
I love that fabric so much.
I like the way this came out, and every time I try to do this with some other colors, but I long ago passed 5 days on it, but I'm so close to being done, and I have 2 days. I'm going to keep working on it, and if I don't finish it in 2 days, of course I didn't work on it very much yesterday because I was doing something else, but I'll show you that later. Anyway, so that's that, and I am doing that right now. That's what I'm working on. I'm like, I'm gonna get this done, maybe. And then my my WIP-GO number 18 was
Sorry.
15 days start on Silent Night.
Silent.
Which one is that?
It's-
It's
Oh, that one.
Yeah. I was trying to
And-
think, is it Starry Night? What is it called? Silent Night. Silent Night. One of those nights.
So this is where I'm gonna stop on this. And then, of
That's
course,
pretty.
I'm going to have to put it in next year's WIP-GO. so that I can actually get some more work on it. But I love it. The only reason I stopped working on it is because I was so close to a finish on this. And this was actually a WIP from last year. And none of my Halloween WIPs got done. Not one. And so if I finish this one, I will have one Halloween finish done. So that's my WIP-GO.
You could always take that out again at Christmas time when you feel Christmassy.
Yeah, I could take it out anytime. I'm just saying, it's definitely going to go on next year's. And then the last of Boo Crew came out, and it's very cute. I did work on more of it, but I said, I will finish it at some point, but I really want to finish this Twin Peak Primitives. This is not important. Isn't correct, but it's
just a
not.
priority.
I'm not passionate about it.
Yeah.
And so I will work on it, a stitch here and a stitch there. Maybe it'll go on next year's WIP-GO. Who knows?
Well, that's the one you got for free, right? You won a prize.
I won the prize, and I had all the stuff, and I had fabric that would work, and I said, I'll start it. I didn't know what it was going to look like.
Right.
Now, Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop,
Uh-huh.
she finished the BOO. The O is a little cauldron, and then she cut it there and framed it just with Boo, and it was very cute. And I said, well, do I want to do that? And then I said, no, because I cut a big old long piece of fabric. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish that at some point, but not today. I have the digital image of what that's going to look like, and so hopefully it'll be like, right here somewhere. So you can see what the full thing will look like.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not thrilled about these purple letters, because it just says Boo Crew,
Yeah.
It's got a little witch's hat, on top of this O, and then it's got the cauldron for the other O, and then there's a little cat on the end. I'm like, if I did just BOO, can I stick that little cat in there somewhere? But, I'll just finish it, because the little cat is very cute. So,
And I see all these things where they say, well, I left this out and I stuck this in and I did, and I'm like, I never think of that, like, about altering the pattern like majorly like that.
That's because you're a tree trunk, as we spoke about before.
okay, so for August cross stitch camp, I finally settled on
What is that?
it's Thimble Treasure Series Little Bee Thimble Box, and it has 3 threads.
Talk about never having done it before. It's like, whoa.
It's got this tiny little box to put together.
It's so cute.
The design is 7 inches long by 1 inch high.
Girl, you have a magnifying glass ready?
Well, no, because it's 32 count. To make it this size, and it has to be this size or it won't fit on the box.
Right.
So I have some leftover thread from one of my fabric from one of my berries that I think will work for this. So, because that'll be 32 count. The whole I took it out to look at it, and then I put it back in, and I put it back in upside down. So I have to remember if I put it right side up to hold the box.
So it doesn't spill.
Because I stuck the threads. I have in here the white and the gold, but I don't have the black stuck in there. But it's basically kitted up, except I haven't technically selected the fabric, but I have a 7-inch strip of fabric. So this is what I'm going to do for August.
This reminds me of that. What's that quote from Iron Man, where what's his face says, he built this in the middle of the desert out of a box of scraps.
So my WIP-GO call number 20 for August this is a free pattern from DMC. It doesn't have a picture, but it is a free pattern on DMC's website. It's called Black Cat.
Shrek Noir.
Yeah, Sha.
They're.
Sha.
I'm sorry.
What?
No, I was like they're so creative with their names.
Black Cat.
They are, whale, black cat,
Turtle.
turtle. So I started on this, I think 2 Halloweens ago. And it's 18 count Ada. And
Oh, you did all the eyeballs and stuff first?
well, first I did this.
Oh.
I did a center start and I started this and then, you have to count. And I was like, no. So I went ahead and started the cat and I figure if these aren't exactly where they're supposed to be, I don't care. Okay? Because I'll get the cat around where it's supposed to be and I'll leave holes for stuff that's not there.
Right.
Because that way I don't have to count everything.
Right. I was gonna say.
So, what?
I know. I forgot that you had started in the center there.
Yeah. So I don't have a whole lot done on it, but that's what this is for, and I'm supposed to do 10 days on that. I don't like 18 count Ada. It's not that it's small, but. And maybe it's because the projects that I chose to do on 18 count Ada would have been better with something like a 32 count or something like that. Because this one has a lot of half stitches and stuff in it.
Yeah.
And I have to poke it through that tiny Ada and it just makes me crazy. And then, oops, I don't want to get that mixed up with your stuff. I have one of my things over there.
You're like, what the heck is this?
I don't know this project.
What the heck is going on here? It grabbed the needle binder on this, grabbed my needle for my other one, so I had 2 things stuck together. So my other 25, my other WIP-GO call is 10 days, and this is a new start. Underwater World Stitchy Princess.
Can I see that? That's new. I haven't seen it before.
And
Oh, how cute!
I
I have seen this.
yeah, I had the thread over here. I mean, the fabric I was going to do it on over here, but I don't know where it is. So, but I've been itching to start that since I bought it a year ago. And so I said, maybe I should just get one of my whips out and work on my whip on something I've already started to get something done. I don't want to do that. I want to work on that.
That is cute.
It is. I like sea things. I like oceany things.
Seahorses.
I'm not like
The ones on
gaga
top.
about mermaids precisely, but I like this pattern.
And the
It's very
turtle
cute.
is cute. And the jellyfish.
The mermaid doesn't show up very well.
No, her
Yeah.
her color's too close to the fabric.
I don't know if my mermaid is going to show up very well. I haven't done a
crab.
floss toss on it because I had all the flosses purchased for this, but I've been using them in other things. So
I do the blue crab.
anyway,
It's very cute.
Stitchy Princess. I love Stitchy Princess's stuff. This is not going to be huge. Probably about the size that Rabbits at the Cafe was. And then I want to do this. Lemon Cat.
This
That's so cute.
This was a free pattern by Maria Bravko. Cute Patterns by Maria.
She's the one that did Whale on the Light Bulb.
Mm-hmm.
And
and
that
the
was
birdie, that aviator birdie,
Yeah.
the owl, aviator owl.
I haven't bought the Aviator Owl. I just like it.
Oh, I see.
She bought, but she's the one that did that bee.
The bee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bee in the flower.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that other bee. Yeah. Anyway, the cat looks very much, because it has this back stitching that makes it look like it's stitched clothes. So it kind of looks like a stuffed animal cat to me. See?
Yeah, that's cute.
But it's just adorable.
It looks like Hobbs.
I don't know about this stuff though.
What?
What does this say?
Oh, the little garland.
What does it say? Free? Oh, free,
Free
pattern.
pattern.
Oh,
It says
you have to
free
stitch
pattern.
free pattern in there.
This was free pattern on her Facebook page. I follow her on Instagram, and occasionally she'll say, you know, free pattern. Sometimes it's like purchase patterns, and often that's how I ended up with that B. Okay, so continuing with my berry SAL, I'm going to show this is the autumn berries.
I've been
And
waiting for
I've
those.
been working on the one that is just text. This is Murano Corée in the color mustard. I've gotten part of the A done. No, I finished the A.
I like the way I read it. It's on there.
And this is,
It's really
I
nice.
believe, Lemon Drops is what it's called by
I love that
Classic
fabric.
Colorworks. I think this is perfect for an autumn berry. And
Your needle's sticking out.
I know.
Okay.
It started falling out when I was showing it. So I have kind of an idea of what fabrics I'm going to do the other two in, but I haven't settled for sure on what colors I'm going to use, because I kind of want to not buy a whole bunch of other fancy floss if I have colors that'll work, because I spend too much money. I'm running out of places to put things. But I decided to start finishing, because this was my cross-stitch camp finish in a way that's not framed for July. Stitch All the Things by Erica Michaels. You know, I haven't bought any berries by anybody other than Erica Michaels. But this is the topper I made for it. I did not have the ribbon that she used, that twill tape. Mine is also looks like a measuring tape, but mine's thicker. I mean, fatter, you know. But I decided to go ahead and use it anyway. And she had a little flower with, I don't think hers had, maybe it had one leaf. I made two little leaves. And I put a little pair of scissors.
Cute.
A little pair of scissors.
That's
Oh,
adorable.
yeah.
So
So that's the top of the
that's the topper. And then I decided, as long as I was finishing that, I'd go ahead and finish my dog, also, you know, Erica Michaels. And I almost forgot that I had to stitch on this little button right there.
Oh.
But I didn't do anything like the topper that was suggested. I chose this little tan color, and I put a little white bone on it. My dog runs around with a bone all the time.
Her little bone is
Her bone
right
is
over
blue. And then I have a little charm that says, "I love my dog,"
Cute.
and a little piece of rickrack. So that's the topper for this one.
What is that little button thing
It's just a
that
button.
you? No,
The
that
red
you,
one.
That you the bottom.
just a button.
It's just a button, like a
Oh.
ball.
It came with it.
Okay.
It looks like a little ball.
It came with it.
It looks like a little poop.
No, it's not. It's red. It's a ball. Also appropriate for that. Okay. Anyway.
So last Christmas was the first time, Helen D had been talking about how she loved berries and making berries, and I saw Erica Michaels' berry
Excuse me.
pattern, Holly Jolly Christmas. It also has a square pattern, but it has two berries, and it was the first berry I wanted to stitch. So I started it, but I started it too close to the edge of the fabric. now that I have more berries, I don't care if I'm wasting fabric. I need to have enough space. I try not to waste fabric, but still. So I had not been wanting to finish it because it was too close to the top. Therefore, I wasn't too close for the pattern, but you know, you need to leave some up there. And
For when you finish it, you mean?
yeah, to finish it. And Helen D finished a Christmas one recently, and her mother made for her a little crochet snowflake that she put on top. And I thought, you know what? I could crochet something to put along that edge.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried for a minute, but I didn't like it. So I bought some lace that kind of looked like crochet, and I put lace around the top here. Right here, you can't tell, but it is stitched right on the edge. But now, because the sides had the seam allowance, enough seam allowance. Now, granted, mostly the seam allowance is for stitching here, because berries are very easy to put together. I was very intimidated, but as long as you cut this out correctly and leave enough space up on top, you know, most of the seam allowance is for this, for the seam. It's one seam and a gathering stitch, stuffing it, and then sewing this on. And sewing this on is not challenging. If you're cross stitching, you can sew. So making these, very fun. Very fun. You can just let your creative juices just go. Anyway, but I hadn't even wanted to try to
It's so pretty.
finish this. Now I have one more that goes with it. But I went ahead and said, you know what? As long as I'm got that in my head to do, I'm going to go ahead. And it has a little peppermint.
So is
Button.
this the thing that you bought?
Yeah.
Okay.
It has a little peppermint button right here. See the little peppermint?
It's so cute. I love that.
For
I
the
love
center of the O. And I have another one for the other berry, and then I have a leaf for the big one. I want to do all of them. I love them. But anyway, so that's what I put. I sewed that on top. And so I don't care if some of this shows because it's pretty and it looks crocheted. And then I tried to design my own. I tried to design my own little doily thing as a cap for the top. You know, about this size. But mine is a little too big. It's I don't, you know. Anyway, it's a little too big, and by the way, I have threads hanging off here. I don't care because they're going to go inside the berry. So, so I had asked Naomi to bring. I knew that she had I was pretty sure she had a crochet book for snowflakes, and so when she brought that, because she thought I was going to use them for finishing the Silent Night, and I was like, "That's a good idea."
I said, because she told me she showed me the berry, and I was like, "Oh, I thought you wanted this," because immediately I pictured that Silent Night cross stitch on a board with crocheted snowflakes around it. So that's what I thought you were doing. And she was like, "Oh, that's a good idea."
I have snowflake buttons I might have used, but that's a better idea. Anyway, she brought this book as well. Now, she made this one for my mom. I believe we showed it at some point.
Yeah.
But it has these little tiny doilies down here. So I'm going to make one of those and see if I like that better. I really like this one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think they're all the same, aren't they?
Mm-mm.
No.
No,
They're like
different.
coasters, yeah. And then
Maybe this one and this one are the same. And this one and this one are the same.
maybe.
Anyway.
There's a lot of ideas in there.
I like this crocheted angel.
Yeah. That reminds me of you. Didn't you make something
I have,
like that?
I have one like that Grandma made.
Oh wow,
So
that's a good book.
I'm going to make,
I think Grandma made it.
I'm going to remake the circle. This one's not horrible, but it does curl because I was just making things up. And I like that star.
It's like 3D. It's like you
I
put
know.
2 or 3 of them
But that
together.
would
I
look
guess.
that would look good on a berry.
Yeah.
Anyway, I actually had thought of a berry pattern I wanted to make. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. So I had gone.
That's what this whole show is digression.
I had told Beth I need to go to Hobby Lobby. So I bought, because I had thread, but I didn't have thread in the right colors. So I bought this, and I bought this. So I'm going to put white, and then I'm going to put green, and then I'm going to put red. Now, I don't know what shape these two are going to be, but that's my plan. And then I have a little candy cane button that I bought when I bought the pattern. I purchased the buttons that went with it. For the topper. But I also found this. It's red, white, and green all together.
You know what I think you should do?
What?
I think you should make the topper in either the red or the green, and then make white snowflakes to go on top of it. Because the snowflakes would look really pretty.
Why is my sister more creative than I am?
Because she doesn't have the pressure of making the berry.
Yeah,
She can just
yeah, I
come
just-
up with all
That
kinds
is,
of
that is
ideas.
actually a really good idea. I would love it.
Because that is so green that the green topper would look really pretty. I mean, most of the pattern is green. So that's why I was thinking like a solid, and the fabric is white, so a solid top, and then white snowflakes. Because you could even miniaturize those snowflakes if they're too big. Those ones that in the snowflake book, you could skip a couple rows and make it.
But I want to use red too.
Well, then use red. Actually, there's less red in this pattern.
I know.
So a red top would look really pretty and bright. And then you could put, or you could make, or you could make it like, let me see. You could make one of these doilies. There's even more in here. Look at these photos in here.
We're gonna put the name of those book
See,
right
look
underneath
at,
there.
Look at those. They're like spidery. And
Yeah,
pretty.
well, I was thinking that something like that, like the like
Is
this
that a
one,
Leisure Arts book?
Yeah.
like this one right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I was saying you could do this. You could do one of these coasters down that you like back here
Are these
in
video?
red and green. Eve.
I was wondering if they're out of print.
I don't know.
You could do red and green. So you could do like the center red and the outside green, or vice versa, and then some of those.
Or I
little
could maybe
snowflakes.
make the topper this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Too busy. Well, I have to figure it out. But I just thought after I saw Helen D's thing with the snowflakes, I went light bulb.
This one,
So-
I don't know about that one, but this one is copyright 95, so I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure they're out of print,
Yeah.
but you can probably find them
I was
on
going to say,
eBay.
you might have to look on eBay or someplace to find them.
And I'm also quite sure that this wasn't the last time a snowflake book was
Yes.
made, because Christmas comes every year. I even was thinking that I would make some and maybe put some up on the Etsy site. Let me know if you think that would be a good idea. They wouldn't cost very much, so not that much thread. But, they
Here
take,
I was.
They
trying-
take forever.
I found some note in here. There's this table runner that is pictured inside here. It's really pretty, and it's made up of motifs. And I was trying to do placement of red, white, and green in this table runner. I have a piece of paper where I was trying to lay it out here, trying to figure out how to make it so that it would look. I guess it would be diagonals: red, red, white, 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 green, 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 red, 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 like that.
So
I don't know.
when you
When you
when
find
you
old
make a
notes of
mistake,
things you never did.
when you make a mistake, like I did with this, you know, I just held on to it and knew I was going to not make that same mistake for the second one. But all it takes is seeing something that somebody else did, and a little light bulb will go off over your head, just like a cartoon. and you'll be able to think of something. Now, I tried to crochet something like this, but I didn't have a book with me, and I said, you know what? Hobby Lobby has tons of trims, and I've seen some that look like crochet. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then put a crocheted top. If I have one, it's see-through, and you'd be able to see the stuffing. But if there's three, you know, one that's like right there, and then some of it's going to go over this little lace thing. If I have three, you're not going to be able to see through it. And it's a little bit of extra effort, but I think I'll like the finish. Now, what's nice about having those patterns is I can say I use this pattern with that, so I can make tops that look the same for the second one. So those are not done yet, but that's what I was doing all day yesterday. I was trying to get it made so I could finish sewing the berries together and stuffing them and all of that. But the bonus for that is I can take a picture of just the top. It's hard to take pictures of the tops if it's already put together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is what I have been up to. It feels like not a lot, but I think it was.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it is. You've done a lot of finishing work. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So-
Well,
Naomi has.
I have some crazy stories. Okay, first of all, right before I came, we had a scare with Calvin because, you know, the cats, whenever they find something that they want to eat or chew on or whatever, for some reason they bring it into the doorway of our bedroom. Like, you know, here's the dead rat. But it's never a dead rat. It's usually a toy or something naughty. They always bring their naughty things there. Well, so he was doing that weird, trying to eat something. I'm like, what are you eating? So I went to nudge him away, and he dropped it, and it was a little white end of a capsule. Empty. Just a little chewy end.
Oh,
and
no.
he was chewing it. When I picked it up, it was soft and soggy as he'd had it in his mouth. And I freaked out. And so Mark and I looked through all of our medication. There are no capsules that match that. It looked like the end to tell me you didn't drop something.
No, but I was saying the ones that Quilter had that we would split apart before the powder.
Oh.
I remember one time I was doing that and the little capsule squirted out of my fingers and I ran around and pick it up.
Maybe.
Had to
So
really
that's
pick it
just a
up.
probiotic, that one. Oh, thank God, Beth. We could not figure it out. And we looked through all of Mark, because Mark has none of his pills, his medications are capsules, and neither are mine. But he has some like supplements that he's been taking, but they were all too big. I didn't even think about Quilter's medicine. Oh. Anyway, we were terrified. So I was hanging around there for a while. I'm like, if something bad going to happen, it's going to happen in a half hour to an hour, you know. And I just texted him, like, is he okay? Oh, thank you. I didn't even think about that. So, yeah, we probably, because they would fall out of your fingers.
Yeah.
They'd be empty, but they'd fall out. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Just fell into the, you know, under the corner of the kitchen, and the stupid cat found it. Okay, anyway, so that was our little scare this morning.
Somehow when some dad was taking his pills, he said, I'm missing a pill. And I said, you're missing a pill? And he goes, yeah, the little yellow one. And I said, the levothyroxine? And he goes, no, the little clear yellow one. And I said, so I looked all over, and then he goes, nah, it's vitamin E, it won't hurt her.
Yeah, so that was really scary this morning. But, no, okay, so let's see. So because Eli, so usually he rides to work with a friend. But that friend, so Eli got well from COVID and went back to work.
but his friend who drove him also had it. A whole bunch of people at First Place had it. Just one of those things, you know. So he was the guy who drove was out of work, and Eli's like, I really want to Uber to work.
It was raining.
Well, no. This has
Was it?
been a couple days in a row. When he first started back to work last Monday.
Oh.
He's like, I don't, you know. And he, because he was going by himself, and because the guy who drove had it, and the girl he went with, who also works there, was isolating because she had been exposed or something. I don't know. Anyway, so he was going to work by himself, and he's like, because part of the problem is right now the light rail only goes one direction on the same track because they're fixing the other track.
Yeah.
And so you have to wait because it's like, if you miss it, it's like a half hour before it comes going the direction you want to go, right? So he was a little bit like, I don't want to deal with it. So we looked at the cost, and it wasn't too bad. I said, well, why don't you, so you don't get to work all sweaty because it's really hot here. Uber down. It's only like $8. Uber to work, and then ride the light rail home. So that's what he's been doing. So the third day, this was, Thursday. So that was the fourth day.
Is it yesterday? Thursday is yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
No. Today's Saturday. 2 days ago, Thursday. So it worked Friday.
Because I remember it was pouring that day.
Yeah, it had rained off and on. When I was out, it wasn't. But anyway, on Thursday, he Ubered down. And I was home. I'd had some appointments, so I was planning to just chillax. And I got a message. He goes, hi, this is Eli. I'm using my job coach's phone. I left my iPhone in the Uber. And I'm like... oh no. So I call her, and I'm like, because she used to drive Uber, and I was like, okay, so what do I do? Well, if you're not on the account, you can't, it
wouldn't let you.
Almost impossible. I went to the website, and I said, left my phone in the car, and I gave my number and my email, but I gave his information, and it's wanted the last 2 rides you had taken. So I just put from, where he lived to where he works. And I didn't hear. Meanwhile, so Eli has on his phone Life 360, and I have it. And so he and I can see each other. We can keep track of each other. And we just use it as like a safety net for him. And so I was watching it drive around downtown in this Uber. And I'm like, I called Mark, and I'm like, I could almost just drive down there and see if I can find him. And I figured it hadn't been stolen, because if it had, whoever would have stolen it from the back seat wouldn't have had a car, right? So it would have stopped somewhere and just been stopped, right? It wouldn't still be driving around. So I'm like, it's in the car. And so I'm like, I'm just going to go down there. I'm like, I told Mark, I'm like, I'm not going to get arrested, am I? And he goes, you're not intimidating, and I'm like, oh, am I going to get shot? Like, can I do this? I don't know this
Phoenix.
person.
It's
But
not always a place where
like,
you want to accost strangers.
Yeah. And also, I'm like, well, he's an Uber driver, so obviously he's probably been vetted as a normal human being.
You would think.
So, mostly. And I was like, I don't know. So I'm like, it looked like he was just like back and forth around downtown. I'm like, that should be easy. I should be able to find him, and he'll stop at an office, on the street, and I'll get out and I'll talk to him. Right? This is my plan. So real quick, I get in the car. I call Eli. I'm like, do you remember what kind of car you were driving in? And he's like, it was a dark Nissan something. And I was like, okay. So I drive, and I have my phone here, and I have Life 360 up, and I'm watching it. And sometimes it doesn't always update, and it's whatever. So I had to keep getting out of the program and turning it back on while I was driving safely. And I get up, and I see him start to go kind of out of the downtown area toward the freeway, which goes out west. And I was like, don't get on the freeway, don't get on the freeway, don't get on the freeway. And he did. He got on the freeway, and he goes further west. And I'm like, if I have to go to Avondale, I'm going to scream. I'm just not going to. So I'm also watching his battery life go. And I'm like, if that thing dies,
You're lost.
We're sunk.
It's like an episode of like, all those murder shows.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so I'm like, okay, I have to find him before. So when I started looking, it was because Life 360 also tells you your battery amount. When I started looking, it was like 60%. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching it just go down, 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 down. So I travel out west and I see him go, like, he was like at 15th in Glendale. So I go up that direction, but I can't catch up to him. And then he comes and he starts going down the other freeway south, and he's coming basically at me. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to go and try to watch, because I had to, like, where's he going to get off? Who knows? So I told Mark, I don't want to get on the freeway because then I won't be able to get off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then I realized as I got, I'm like, yes, I am. I'm going to get on the freeway and I'll follow him. And I realized, no, he's behind me. So I got back off and I went around. And as I went around, I saw that he got off. And he was like going on Thomas. And he went to, or not Thomas, but he was going, and I saw that he went into a hospital there, St. Joe's. Uh-huh. And I'm like, that's perfect. Because he'll be sitting there, or he'll be in the parking lot or in the drop-off. So I was watching it, and I'm like, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave. But I'm trying to get to the hospital. Well, I'm going one direction on the road where the hospital is, and I see, and it won't update, and I see him coming down toward the same street. But I'm going this way, and he's on the opposite side. And I'm like, what if he goes that direction? And then it showed that he was ahead of me when it finally updated. So I'm like, okay, and I'm trying to travel that way, and then I see it updates again and it moves like this, and he's behind me, and I'm like, no. So I turn south and I come around, and I wound up finally, and then he was going back the same way. So I think it was just like updating, like not trying to, because it would say Eli's location cannot be found, and so finally, I was like going up the street and down the street and all around. Finally, I get behind him on Thomas, and I'm like, I'm behind him. I'm like, okay, but I'm not caught up to him yet. And I see that he turns south on this little road, 5th Avenue. So I get up there. I'm like, okay, and then I turn, and I look, and I don't see him. But I'm watching Life 360. It says he turned on another little residential road, and I'm like, he's picking somebody up. This is perfect. This is perfect. This is perfect. So I turn. And I look down this little residential road, and the next big street is a large thoroughfare, 7th Ave, right? So I see him all the way at the end of that street because he already picked somebody up, and he went all the way down there. So I'm kind of going, like, I gotta go down there. I get kind of fast, and I see my face and Eli's face go like this. It's in that car, and it wasn't a Nissan, Eli. It was a Hyundai. So that's fine. But because here I'm like, I was looking for a Nissan. But so I pull up and I'm honking and I have my arm out. I'm waving and waving and waving. I'm like, stop. And of course he thinks I'm honking like, hurry up and turn. So he turns left and I'm like, no. So I wait, fortunately there's no traffic, and I turn, follow him. And he's in the left lane going south, and I pull up in the right lane, and I'm honking and waving and waving. And I open my window, I'm waving at him. And he's looking at me like, what is your problem, you stupid, crazy woman? And he puts his window down. I said, are you an Uber driver? And he goes, yeah. I said, I think you have my son's phone in your car. And he's like, no, I don't. You must think someone else. He goes, like, I'm looking. I think he thought that we had reported it already, and it would have been like in his front seat, like something,
waiting. Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm looking right here. I'm like, no, Life 360 says it is in your car. And he's like, you must have the wrong person. I said, you took, I told my son's name, and I told him where he works. Like, you took him there today at noon. And he's like, no. And this is why we're driving down 7th Ave. We're going real slow. I didn't even notice if there was traffic behind us. And he's like, no, you must think someone else. But while we're having this exchange, I see the passenger in the back seat, the silhouette of her, because it's tinted. Uh-huh. I see her bend down like this. And she picks it up and hands it up. And I was like, I can't believe it. So we pulled off. And he came and followed me. And he's like, how did you know it was me? And I said, that phone has an app on it called Life 360. And
I've been following you all over the city. And I apologized to the rider. I'm like, I'm sorry for hijacking your ride. She's like, no, it's great. And I said, yeah, it was my son Eli. And he's, oh, Eli, yeah, I remember him. So he did remember him. And Eli said he'd had him before.
Oh,
like he'd had him a couple of times. So
yeah, because his buddy works that downtown area.
Yeah. So
I hated driving that downtown area. It takes a certain moxie to drive downtown.
I was like, okay. So I texted his job coach and I said, I've got his phone. So I went down there, found a meter, walked in, and he met me down in the lobby of his building. And I'm like, you're welcome. And I called Mark and he's like, you're a bad. He's like, I can't believe you found it. I can't believe you did that. I'm like, yeah, I did. Because, and part of me was getting really discouraged. And I'm like, I'm wasting all this gas, and gas is $1 million. I'm like, wait a minute. A tank of gas is way less money than an iPhone. So I'm like,
well,
yeah,
not to mention
okay.
all the things that they can get off his iPhone.
Yeah.
So, because, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, that I'm kind of that way about just like anytime I lose something, or, you know, that I have to turn the house upside down until I find it. And I remember one time but back when I used to have that Pinto, you know, I went somewhere to gas up, and it had like a locking gas cap or something. We had replaced the gas cap, and when I went to gas up, I guess I forgot the gas cap on top of the car, and I went to drive away and realized I had lost the gas cap. So
no.
I went and I retraced it, and I think it was on Rio Grande Boulevard. I'm out there. No, Corrales Road. I'm out there looking for the gas cap along the side of the road or something else.
At least on Corrales Road, people aren't doing 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, no, so I can't believe I did that. I was like, I did that. So that night, we were joking because Mark had a really good day at work, and I was like, okay, I think one of the things I did in the morning was secure Hannah's mover, which was a very funny conversation in Boston, because so he was telling me, like, kids are so crazy, and I'm like, I don't understand what is wrong with parents. Like he said that, like, because people have to move out on the 31st, but they can't move into the 1st, and they don't make a plan or figure it out. Like, they take their stuff out onto the curb and put a tarp over it and sleep with it on the street to wait for the moving truck the next day because they don't have anywhere to go. But I'm like, aren't your parents, like, where are your parents? Now, I understand, like, sometimes there's, like, probably foreign students who who their parents really can't help. But at least, like for me, I'm organizing it for her. The reason I'm doing it for her is because right now she is very overwhelmed with her music program, and I don't expect her to divide her brain in that way. And
Well, not only that, but she's out of town.
That's what I'm saying. She's not in Boston. And, you know, and I'm like, I don't mind helping you to make sure that everything goes. Yeah. Because a little bit, she's like, everything's fine. It'll be fine. It's fine. It's fine.
But she's also very self-sufficient. It's not like you're, you know, there's a TikTok person that I follow that is on one of those college parent groups.
Yeah. And
she says, you know, they're mad because they can't go and stay in the dorm with them when they move in so that they can find all their classes. And I'm like...
Exactly. We're not that kind of parents. But we are, like, want to ensure that things go. He's like, because I was like, when we showed up to the current apartment where she now resides, we showed up on the day we were told we could move in, and the landlord told us we could move in, and he says that he had told the kids who lived there that they already had to be out by X time that morning. He's like, they'll be out by this time, you can move in at this time. We're like, great, because I'm going to have a cleaner there. And we showed up. Hannah went, because we were bringing the truck full of Hannah's stuff, I think. It was that. I don't remember now all together, but exactly how it happened. But I think I told this story when I got back from Boston a year ago. But she knocked on the door, and they were like, opened the door and they were deer in headlights.
Like they didn't know they were moving.
She's like, we thought we had to move out by tomorrow. Okay, maybe you missed a day, but that doesn't explain why 0 things are packed.
Yeah.
If you're moving out tomorrow, by today, you should be packed.
Yeah. Yeah. You
If
have
nothing
a
else,
pile of boxes.
if there was a
you know.
miscommunication, oh, I'm supposed to move out tomorrow. Okay, well, I have still a few things to pack. It's, I
Mhm.
mean, I'm supposed to move out today. Okay, no. Hannah said they walked through there. There was nothing, 0, nothing packed. How do you do that? And what is wrong with your mother?
Well, and also
That,
that's
that
why
isn't
they
telling
leave.
you, are you packed yet?
That's why they leave a disaster for.
Because this mother,
Mhm.
when after she's done with her, I'm giving you all the grace and time for you're at your institute. When you get back to Boston, you're going to start packing that day that you get back, so that when those movers come, he goes, sometimes the kids will start packing while we're driving to their apartment, and they wonder why we have to charge them for an extra hour or 2 or to pack for them or whatever. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh! I said, I guess I was telling him about those people, and he goes, that's the difference between a good parents and bad parents. And your daughter's very lucky that she has good parents. We had a really nice conversation, and it was neat because I told him, I was able to tell him, I said, the reason this is Michael's Moving and Storage in Boston. I would highly recommend them. And the reason I highly recommend them, even though they haven't yet moved my daughter, is because when we were there, we were helping her friend move his things out of his old apartment into their, because they're roommates right now. So we were helping him move because we had the truck, and we're like, we'll help you. So we were there by his apartment, and we were struggling with, I think, a mattress or something, getting it into the U-Haul. And Michael's Moving and Storage came to move a young lady out of a nearby apartment. So they just went bloop and got their stuff. And they saw us struggling. So the guys just came over and said, here. And they helped us. So Mark snapped a picture of the truck because we were really impressed with that. They were just selflessly helping.
Yeah.
And I told the scheduler on Thursday, I said, this is why we called you guys first. We don't know anybody in Boston. And I even got a couple of recommendations from another friend. And I looked into them. They were a lot more money. And these guys sort of really include everything and really nice to work with. But I told him that story. And he's like, oh my gosh. He goes, I'm going to tell that at our next meeting. He goes, this is exactly why I love working for this company. He's like, I worked for a lot of other companies and in Boston, and it was just really horrible. And he goes, a lot of our early business in past years has been because other moving companies don't show up.
Yeah.
They just don't come. So people,
Because if their job is too small, they'll go to something they'll
yeah,
get more
and so
money.
he's like, right now we have too much business to do that, but a lot of our business came from that because, and I guess he's like, Michael, the guy that owns it, has really worked really hard to get all of the, to get and keep all of the best movers, in town to work for him. And, so he was really happy to hear that story from last year. So it was really good. So I had that great meeting and did that, and then I recovered Eli's phone, and I cooked a really good dinner, and
Just hitting on all cylinders.
and I was like, and I did this, and I went to the after I recovered the phone, I went to the grocery store like a real person. And I got groceries, and then I cooked dinner. I told Mark, so now I'm done. I'm going to go sit and knit, and I deserve it. That was very funny.
Well, I have been feeling very, 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 very tired. I have never been somebody that sleeps. I have trouble falling asleep. I normally would sleep a few hours. But I have neck pain. And that's not why I can't sleep. I haven't been able to sleep since I was a kid. So recently, I can't stay awake. I would be taking naps, I wake up as tired as I went to bed, and Naomi's like, I think you need to see somebody, And went to my physical therapist on Wednesday. Because I had had a headache for 4 days, I mentioned it to him. and I knew it was coming from my neck, but he said, "Do you want to try dry needle? It's not acupuncture exactly, but he says it's a dry needle."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Will my insurance cover that?" And he says, "It's part of your treatment, so sure." So I said, "Okay." He's like, "Is there anything I need to know? Are you afraid of needles?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not afraid of needles, no problem." It took him 2 or 3 minutes to do it. It was nothing, right? And he said, "Now your shoulder muscle is going to be sore, but let me know if the headache went away." And almost right away, my headache went away.
Wow.
And the rest of the day, I was like an Energizer bunny.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing things. I was wide awake. I was feeling more, and I'm like, you never realize what constant, unremitting pain
Yeah.
does to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I was in pain, but I didn't know that was why I was so tired.
Yeah.
And
You probably weren't sleeping as well as,
Even
And
though
you
you were
could've-
sleeping, you weren't sleeping.
Yeah.
well, yeah, because
Resting.
I had to keep moving because my neck would hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe, it's starting to feel a little bit like it did before, not as bad.
Yeah.
But so last night, because lately I can't even get up the energy to cook dinner. It just, everything, the only thing I'm cooking is things that take no effort whatsoever. But last night, my father has loved Fritos all his life. But recently he has trouble eating them.
Which is very sad.
It's very sad because he really likes them. So the Fritos were on sale at Fry's, so I bought some thinking I'm going to make Frito pie with them, but I was thinking the way Mom used to,
Uh-huh.
with hominy and cheese and
Oh.
and Fritos, and that's it. But Robert goes, "Oh yeah, with the meat and the chili." I'm like,
Sure.
maybe. And I had to go back to the store for. I ordered
I
groceries.
forgot that Mom used to make it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the hominy and stuff to make it that way too, and cheese. But anyway, so I made Frito pie yesterday, and you want to know, Dad ate his whole serving.
Good.
And you can really taste the Fritos in it,
Yeah.
I did not broil it because I hate broiling, but
So how
It was
did you
good.
make it?
just in the frying pan with. I found a recipe on.
No, did you throw the Fritos in when you cooked it, or did you put them on top?
They were on top, but I stirred them in so they would start getting soft, so Dad could
Yeah.
eat them. Yeah.
Because we just do simple Frito pie. Like, I buy Amy's chili, which is vegetarian, which is like, it's got like I think it's got a meat substitute in it, but it's mostly just beans and and it's nice and spicy, but not horrible. And heat that up, and we just throw Fritos under it and on it and cheese, and eat it that way. But I had forgotten completely. So how did Mom make it? Did she?
She
put
would
hominy?
butter a glass dish, and then she would layer Fritos and hominy and cheese a couple of layers of those, and then she'd bake it until the cheese melts.
And beans, right? Did you
Nope.
put beans in it?
Nope, no beans, just
Oh.
Fritos, hominy, and
Wow,
cheese.
that kind of sounds good.
It is good, which is what I was going to make. But Dad and Beth and I ate until we could barely move.
Well, I started
There
Hello.
was none left. Let me
I
put it
started Hello Fresh again because I have been in a funk for I want to say a year and a half now.
I really
And-
liked HelloFresh, but it gave me so much pressure.
Yeah, but you know what? I think actually it was when Mom passed away. I stopped cooking regularly and meal planning. I cooked I've been cooking haphazardly between between having COVID, Mom passing away, having Graves' disease, so my thyroid being so whacked out, and just 2021 was like a blur. And 22, I've been like, oh yeah, I should like cook and plan meals, but I don't know what to make. Like literally, like I'd be like, I don't know what do I usually make? I don't even know. Like completely lost. And so I was talking to Mark because we've been eating out way too much, and I'd be cooking, but kind of the same weird, boring stuff, and not really planning it very well, and haphazardly, and okay, I'll go to the store today, you know, kind of thing. And I'm like, maybe we should get back, because Eli's gone, you know, most days now, and it's just the two of us. So like, we'll do HelloFresh for just the two of us, and you know, it'd certainly be cheaper than
very good.
eating out, and replace much of the groceries we buy, you know. So, so the
And
first
you can
night,
make healthier
yeah,
choices
the
than
first night
eating
was like a
out.
pasta dish, with like a cream sauce with mushrooms. It was so good. And then on Thursday, when I had all my triumphs, Mark decided that I didn't. Well, while I was coming home from the phone fiasco, he's like, "You don't have to cook dinner tonight. We'll celebrate." So we got Cracker Barrel, which kind of made me a little bit sick. It's because it was rich. Anyway, and then so then Friday I was going to cook, and then Eli's like, "Can I come home to hear Hannah's performance and just come over the weekend?" I was like, "Sure, but what am I going to cook? Because it's only for 2 people." But the one of the dishes I had was a beef flauta. Did you ever try that?
I don't think so.
It has those sad uncooked flour tortillas,
those
but
tortillas.
wait. In this recipe, you cook the ground beef with onions and all the spices and everything, really good, and then you get the flour tortilla and brush it with olive oil, and then you roll it up and stick it. And I have this little pan that just fit it perfectly, so they were all scrunched together, so they cooked well. And because you brush both sides with olive oil, they brown and crisp up
So they taste like real tortillas.
beautifully. Mark's like, "How did you get them like that?" And I told him, and he's like, "Do that every time." And I realized I don't need HelloFresh to make those flautas. I mean, all you gotta do is season your beef, put cheese, and roll it up, and you know, and brush it with olive oil, and it comes out that way. Almost like,
I have a recipe kind of
Who
like that
knew?
who
knew?
from emails. I want to cancel emails, but if I cancel them, I'll lose the stuff that I have saved. I think. I don't know. Anyway,
print it all out in paper.
so much trouble. But
It's like that commercial for is it Progressive or whatever.
Eve.
The guy says,
I can't
"We don't need
use-
to print the internet."
Yeah.
I can't use a lot of it because I'm changing what I cook because my entire being is what can Daddy, not what will he eat. He's
Right.
pretty easy will,
Right.
but what
No, but what I was
can
gonna say, what I did, you know that corn one you sent me? Don't tell emails. Shh. You sent it to me, and I screenshotted it. So now it's mine forever.
maybe I could do that.
Anyway, if you've paid for it, you'd think they would let you keep it.
Yeah,
PDF files or something.
you can download them from the email. You can download them, but I never download them because I have the app.
Right.
But I don't know that once I quit, if the ones on the app will still work.
Well, but you can download them and save them somewhere.
The nice thing about the app is that you can send it to a grocery list. You can either have a grocery
Nice.
list, or you can send it, for pickup or delivery or whatever. It'll do that. So you
There's
don't
some
forget
free
anything.
apps. There's a free app that I started to use. Of course, you know how me I am. I start to do something and I don't ever continue it. Remind me, show you later. I can't remember what it's called right now, but it's called Whisk. It's a free app, and you can import things into it and keep it forever. And it will do the same thing and make a WHISK. So thank you for listening to our private conversation about all of our recipes. But I know that you all have to cook food too, so
Yeah.
that's a thing.
And
why do I have to cook every day?
I like
Why do
cooking, or at
people
least
eat every day?
I used to like cooking.
One day I was over here and she's like, "I'm on strike. All y'all gonna have to feed yourselves. I'm on strike." I was like, "Okay, I'm going home. I'll see you later. I don't know what's happening here in this house, but But yeah, so I'm glad I started that again. Tonight we're gonna have this cheeseburger lettuce wraps.
Sounds good.
So you make it's like a cheeseburger flavored meat, beef and all the fixings. Got pickles and all this stuff.
I kept all the recipes of those.
Yeah, because you can just
I
make
wanna
them
make
yourself.
I want to make those firecracker meatballs.
I got
again.
firecracker
The
meatballs next
Firecracker meatballs are so good.
Yeah,
And
coming next
Robert's
week.
like, that's on the approved list. That's what he said about last night's stew. That is on the approved list. He got
you should
mad.
write all those things down to give them to his future wife. Like, here's the approved list.
He got mad because night before that, I made French toast. Dad can eat French toast, and he will eat a decent
That
amount.
sounds good.
And I fried a little egg to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad ate it pretty well. All of us ate it. He wouldn't eat it.
Why? Breakfast?
Because
for
it
dinner?
wasn't meat.
Oh, brother.
Like,
An egg is meat.
I know. But,
So
I'm like,
Sonia's chickens are not laying eggs because it's too hot, and some of them have died.
oh
from the heat.
no.
But
That's
she
sad.
has new baby chickens that are now pullets that are growing up, and they should be ready to lay soon because her old flock is old,
Mm-hmm.
and now they've stopped laying mostly because of the heat, but also they're getting old. So she knew she's gonna have to do a switcheroo, so that's why she bought the chicks, and so we're on egg hold right now. We have no eggs coming in. She's like, I'll let you know when we're ready. But
Yeah, but
I love eggs.
cycle of life. kind of thing.
So, my stories. I had one like sad day that we went to Target. We just wanted
It
like a
wasn't
little.
that sad.
No, but I was I got a little hot and I was a little disappointed and I was a little miffed. And normally, I'm not the kind of person who gripes about something. I might be unhappy with whatever, but I usually don't make too much of a fuss. But we went to Target just for an outing, and so Dad looked at some stuff and he ultimately didn't buy anything because he couldn't find the right size or whatever. But so I didn't really need anything at Target. I just was like, just we'll look. So I was looking at like the dollar spot, and I saw one thing I thought I would get. It was only like $3, And then I thought, you know what? I want to get some trail mix. Because they have a whole bunch of different kinds, and I've gotten it there before. So I went to the little aisle where they have all the trail mix, and there was a sign there that said, I think it's Good and Gather is one of their store brands or whatever, but it said certain ounce size. If you buy 2 of them, they're $4 a piece, right? So, and it says, must buy 2. So I thought, okay, I could do that. I think the regular price was like $3.68 or something like that. So I went ahead and bought 2. Got 2 off the shelf and went up to the front. And as I was getting in line there, Eve was like, we're waiting here. We didn't buy anything. So I thought, well, I'm going to go through the checkout and meet them, and So I got in the checkout lane, and the girl told me it was going to be like, I think $16 or something. And I thought, wait, wasn't the trail mix on sale? Because I was thinking it was going to be like 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's looking at her little computer readout thing, and she's like, no, it's not on sale, And I'm like, but there was a sign back there that said,
If you bought 2,
Yeah.
for $4 each.
yeah, and because I wouldn't normally buy 2, but whatever, right? So, and she's like, well, do you have a picture of it? And I'm like,
No, you.
yeah. I'm like, like I had seen it on the app
Every time
or
you
something.
every time you go snap a picture.
I've thought about
you
it
could have
actually.
looked. You could have looked on the app and see. If
Well,
it said it
I
on there.
kind of looked on there, but I didn't see it right away, and I was already in the aisle,
So because
But
it'll say
yeah. And well, and actually, I think
Yes.
I think I looked for like sales or something like that, and I didn't see it. It wasn't listed, but I was
Also
like,
their problem.
They
Because
might
if the
they
sign's
might have
out-
forgotten to take the sign off.
yeah,
and
that's
not
because I thought,
that's
well,
not your problem.
Yeah, because I thought, well, maybe I didn't read, like if it said, in the fine print, so they have always have it on those ads, like what the dates were or whatever, right? But I said, I said, no, I don't have a picture of it. I saw it with my own eyes back there, and she's like, well, I'm like, it was there was a sign back there. And so then she calls on her little phone thing or whatever, for somebody to go back there and look for it. And when she got the answer back, she said that he said that it was like there was like a 20-something ounce that was on sale or something like that, and blah blah blah, but not the sale. And said I saw the sign with my own eyes back there that said, blah 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 blah. And she didn't say, you have to buy a different size or you have to whatever. But she was like, no, it's not back there. And I was like, okay, forget it. I don't want anything. I don't want the little $3 disc
The
thing
problem
that I
with
bought.
her sending somebody rather than you say, I'm going to go back there and take a picture, is that
they can move it.
the person who goes back there and sees that it is mislabeled or the sign
It's
wasn't
wrong.
taken off, all they have to do is go, nope, sign wasn't there.
Yeah, like she was saying something about, like, oh, well, we may have left that sign up, from before or whatever. And I'm like,
Your problem.
the sign was still there, but I was just like, I was so mad at her for like this. She had this very just attitude about, it's just not, it's not on sale. It's not on sale. It's not here. It's not here. And I was like, ugh. And so I just like said, forget it. I don't want anything. I don't want the little thing that I found. I just, and I was just like,
Well,
and like I said, ordinarily I'm not, that kind of that I don't get that mad, but I was just so, I just wanted to slap her,
So a long time ago when I lived in Florida, I worked at a craft store.
Sorry,
And-
excuse me. Did either of you have a ruler on you?
No.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. Oh, I see
There's
it.
a measuring tape.
No, I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it. Thank you.
So, like I was saying, if the sign's still there, you have to honor it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this woman comes up to the register, and she's got this giant piece of wood, like a little shelf, right, about this long, and it has a $3 sales sticker stuck to it. And if it's too good to be true, it probably is, right? And she tried it. She took it up to the register, and they said, "Ma'am, this is not $3." And she goes, "It has a $3 sticker on it." And they said, "Perhaps it does, but nobody here stuck that $3 sticker on there because that would be insane. This was not a mistake on our part." No. And she got really hot that we would not honor the $3. Well, you're supposed to honor it if it says it. And we're like,
show me another one with another $3 sticker.
yeah. Well, of course there wasn't any. She took a $3 sticker off of something and stuck it on that. How did she think she was going to get away with that? But it's not like what Beth was saying. It's just.
Yeah.
And I've done that before at grocery stores and stuff like that when they try to give me the wrong price, and no, that's not what that says back there. And she said, well, I can call somebody. No, I'll go back there and take a picture and show you. Yeah. Because
if you and Dad hadn't been there, waiting, I might have
yeah.
done that, because I thought, well, they're already.
Or if it was something like super,
yeah.
super important, or
if you needed it,
but
yeah, it's very annoying when stuff like that happens. And, and you know, they have sales every week, and they just forget to take one sale sign down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you told me that she said that maybe it was a sale thing that was left on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
then you still have to honor it.
well, that's what I was thinking, that, you know, that they would say, oh, you know, I assumed that it was, you know, because if it was a mistake, if they had left the sign there, that they would, you know, go ahead and do it or whatever. But for her to just have this, like, especially that first question, did you take a picture of it, or do you have a picture of it? And I'm like,
But do I have to take pictures of all your sale signs because you guys won't honor them
that makes me
otherwise?
so mad. But
Yeah. Oh, I was going to tell you guys, I got a commission at work. I accidentally. There's this young girl. She's so sweet, and I've talked to her about knitting before, and I was like, I will teach you. I will teach you. She's like, yeah, I'm going to take you up on it. I'm going to have to learn from you. I was, you know, I've never really done it before. La la la. And so I keep telling her, I'll teach you. And but yesterday she came. She's like, "Is it extraordinarily cold in here?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty cold." Because I was wearing my jacket and everything. She's like, "It's so cold, I can't type. Like my hands are so cold." And I happen to have these that I made for Hannah. I keep them in my bag because it gets so cold in our office. And I made these ages ago for her. I made her some neon colored ones in the past. And then I made these for her because I realized maybe she's not wearing them because they're neon colors. So I made these for her that are like she could wear, you know, a little bit more sophisticated look. And what is it? Black, purple, blue, and gray. And she likes them, but she never wears them because I thought she could play in them, or at least you know, if it was really cold. But I think it impedes, especially in the thumb, too much. And of course it's kind of thick right here, so she can't, it doesn't feel right on the fingerboard, so she's never played with them. So I stole them back because they were in her room, and whenever Hobbs was in there, this is his favorite, one of his favorite stuffies to steal is these gloves. So I took them, and I just keep them in my bag for those days when my hands hurt or it's really cold in the office. Well, so I had them in my knitting bag, or in my purse or whatever, and so she was talking about that, and she's like, I need to go buy some gloves or whatever. I said, here, you can borrow these. And she's like, oh, okay, thank you. So she wore them for a little while, and then she was leaving early because it was Friday. And of course, box office, we got to stay till the bitter end. But anyway, everybody left. But so she brought them back. She's like, I would pay you for a pair of those. And I was like, I have a lot on my plate. I said, and I don't think I can make you color work one like this. I said, but I could make you just a solid, you know, just one color fingerless gloves. And she's like, I would pay for them. I'd love that. So I was like, oh, I have lots of like self-striping sock yarn, and I thought that would be good.
yeah.
So maybe I'll I don't know what, charge her $20. I don't know, figure something out. But
Before you make them, you better set a price.
I know, but I mean. Anyway, so
here we are again, our private conversation.
this is how it works. But anyway, I was like, and I told her, and I can't promise you a timeline. I'm terrible at that. Just ask Eli and Rachel how bad I am. So anyway, I was like, I could do that. Of course, and so I started a frog, but you know that's why. But I told her, yeah, I can make them for you. I said I can't do this kind of, because this is like Fair Isle color work that and I really want to make. One of the things I was going to do if I made Hannah a sweater, I was going to do a Fair Isle sweater, but I figure I'm going to get the measurements down first and then keep branching out into something like that. But this is from a book. This pattern is from a book called Fearless Fair Isle, and it's a really great book if you're looking to start any kind of color work like this. Her patterns are very easy to understand. She is just like no fear, steeking, anything like that. If you're really interested, it's called Fearless Fair Isle, and I don't have the author's name. I'm sorry, but anyway, that's this little. So I lent these out and got a job. So there you go. Anyway, we are like talking ears off, and we better wrap it up. But so we're just so excited to be back together after all this time.
One of the things I wanted to talk about that with all my projects, but I was thinking about the making a chart, and I haven't quite decided everything yet, but because I don't think I want to put all the verses or whatever, but so I haven't decided what parts of it I'm going to use. But there's an old hymn called "The Wayfaring Stranger." And it's something that my grandma Phoebe, my dad's mother, used to talk about, and we played it sang it very often at the church that she was a member of.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's a good song.
yeah, it's a nice, really nice little song. But the reason I had thought about it recently was that the other day I was watching that movie 1917, which is about these two young men in during World War One, and they have this mission that they go on. But at one point, this one of the guys is going through the forest, and there's a group of soldiers sitting there, and one of them, I guess they're having a little church service or whatever. So one of the young men is from this group is singing this song, and so I hadn't thought about it in a long time, but I thought that song's been rolling around my head lately. So we have an old Broadman hymnal that has the story in there. So it has the hymn in there. Yeah, so I'm thinking of using some parts of it or whatever to chart and
to make a pattern.
yeah.
That'd be neat.
So yeah, I want to work on that. I just have to ruminate about it a little bit, but yeah.
I have lots of ideas for cross-stitch charts, and I never think about them beyond the idea. But I've got some ideas.
Yeah.
But we better wrap up.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us. We're very happy to be back together. And we will see you we will see you next week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Yay, good job. Bye.